I want to find out is Miss okay. Moyo is in the room. Uh-huh. All right. Hello everyone. Am I audible? Can you hear me? Please, if you are not
Yes, you
requested
are
to
audible. We are getting you.
be
My
kindly
friend,
Can
you're
hear
mute your
you.
microphone.
yeah, you are audible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you joining us today for this special International Youth Day 2024 webinar. I am Patrick Kofi Benyin, your host and the PRO and the Director of Membership at the African Young Leaders Foundation. I'm absolutely thrilled to have you all here, and I'm also honored to be joined with our noble speakers who will be sharing a great insight on this auspicious occasion under the theme From Plagues to Progress, Youth Digital Pathway for Sustainable Development. This event is not just about listening, it's about engaging, learning, and growing together as we explore how digitalization is reshaping our world, especially for us, the youths. And you will all bear with me that today we will all hear, all of us have technology, or all of us in one way or the other have digital devices that keep us connected. So we will hear from some incredible panelists who are not just an expert, but passionate leaders and driving change in their communities. So get ready for an inspiring, thought-provoking, and energizing discussion that will spark ideas and empower you to take action in your own digital journey. So before we started, I want to find out if all my panels are in the room. Please indicate, Miss Mojo, are you here? If
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you so much. And how about okay, Mr. Malika is in the room. I saw him. Then how about Miss Joanna?
I'm here.
Good. Then our final speaker, I also saw the person that is Mr. Josh. So thank you so much. Now moving forward, I'm excited to introduce our first speaker for today's webinar, which is in the person of Miss Suganani Moyo. And Miss Moyo is a distinguished public health practitioner with a wealth of interdisciplinary experience spanning research, advocacy, and project management. With over 5 years of experience working on projects funded by prestigious organizations such as USAID, the Global Fund, and the CDC, Ms. Moyo has made significant strides in HIV/AIDS prevention, addressing gender-based violence, and empowering adolescent girls and young women on sexual and reproductive health and right. Today, she will share her insight on how digitalization has opened new doors for youth to access information and learn without borders. She will also explore the powerful role of social media in enabling youth to network and influence positive trends. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Miss Moyo as she takes the floor. Miss Moyo, you are most welcome, and I will request you to come on camera so that our viewers who are joining us will see you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I hope I am audible and visible. I am
Yes,
having
please.
a bit of a challenge with my electricity. All right. Thank you so much for a great introduction. I don't need to say anything else. You've already said enough. All right. So, looking at our this year's International Youth Day theme, which is particularly focusing on digitalization. We're talking of clicks to progress. I'll be mostly talking about education and learning, and I'll also talk about social interaction and communication. So let's get into it. When we talk about education and learning and so we're looking at how digitalization has impacted education and learning. There are so many things that have come about. We can see opportunities, but we can also see challenges that have come about. But mostly I'll look into the opportunities that have risen. For instance, let's look into the COVID-19 era. We're looking at specifically the lockdown time. I believe most of us at that time were probably studying, some were working, and that era had a very big impact on everyone, from physical, economic to mental. So let's look into it for those who are studying. That is the time that made us realize that the digital world is very big. The digital world is very important. We need it. We need to use it. It's the time that we came to realize that we can be having online classes. We can be creating tutorials. It became a very insightful time for us to realize that it is no longer just about Facebook. It is no longer just about looking at Google, looking at YouTube. We came to realize that we can use the digital world on a bigger and a broader way. I believe that time, most of us, we took to task to learn new skills or to explore new things. In my own instance, I took that time to get an online certificate. I enrolled myself in a program. I did sexual reproductive health and rights. I earned a certificate during that time because I realized that as much as we were in a lockdown, I was becoming idle, and also at the same time I was getting depressed. So it was a better way for me to run away from all those things. But in my way of running away, I took myself to progress. I have worked in the field of sexual reproductive health for a while. And for me to take that course, it really helped me out. Hello, am I still here? Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes, please. You're audible.
All right, thank you. Okay, that time helped me to improve my skills. It helped me to learn new things. So it is the same way that I can say, as youths, we can use digitalization to impact us, to improve us, to help us. Most of us are not using it as we should. But I believe we can use
Mr.
it to
Mulid, would
challenge
you
ourselves.
mind to mute? Sorry for the interruption. Mr. Mulid, would you mind to mute yourself? Please go ahead.
All right, thank you. So as we are talking of progress, from clicks to progress, I'll focus much on the progress area. I would like to challenge us as the youth that it is very important for us to learn a new skill each and every single day. It might take long, it might take time for us to learn it, but it is very important that we challenge ourselves to use digital platforms to learn new things. You can teach yourself graphic designing. You can learn baking. You can learn makeup. You know, there's so many things that we can learn from, in the sense that it will help ourselves to progress in life. We are not just looking at learning something and then you just skip it. No. But you learn it to progress yourself, you learn it to help others, you learn to take others further. I'm sorry, but may I ask that you mute them if it is possible?
Kindly unmute and go ahead. Let me remove the person. Please, you are muted.
All right, thank you. All right, so still talking about education and learning. As I was talking, I stated that it is very important that you challenge yourself to keep learning. You can use the digital platforms to learn new things. We can learn graphic designing, talk of baking, cooking, you can talk of makeup. These are skills that are not just going to stay idle. You're going to use this to earn a living. Some of us are not working, some are working. But even though you are working, you might need a supplementary income. So the skills that we'll learn from these platforms will help us to progress. They will help us to build ourselves. You can also use the same skills to help someone else. Let's say you've learned graphic designing. You'll be able to teach someone else. You can teach someone else how to bake. You can teach someone else how to cook. In the long run, we'll end up building more youth. We will end up youth who will be able to run their own businesses. We are raising people who will be able to run big businesses, employ others. So they are not just platforms where we can laugh. I'm sorry, I'm going to use those words, but I believe most of us, we just use digital platforms to laugh, dance, but there is more we can do with those. So it is my plea that we can use these platforms for us to grow. For example, I'll use myself as an example. If not for digitalization or digital platforms, I don't think I could have gotten as far as I've gotten. In my university days, I used a lot of clicking, I should say, searching, doing research for my projects, doing research for my assignments. It was all about the social media, the digital platforms that helped me through. I am also a Yali alumni. And I did not attend the physical classes. I was on the online cohort, 2 months of classes. And right now I am a alumni, I have my certificate. I used the digital platform to benefit me. I used it to build me. Let's say in the instance where I'm saying that I attended the yearly training, my focus was on civic engagement, civic leadership. That does not benefit me alone. I am looking at other people. I am focusing on helping others, building others. So it's not just about me, it's also about helping others to grow. So education and learning aside, let's also talk about social interaction. We talk of TikTok, Facebook, X, and many others. We can also mention YouTube. There is more we can be using those platforms to do for us. We as a youth are, I'm sure probably 95%, we are the ones who use those platforms. Most of our parents struggle with those, but we are the ones we use mostly. But how much has it benefited you? Take time to evaluate yourself. How much has TikTok benefited you? How much have you used X to benefit you or Facebook to benefit you? What have you done with it? Most of us, we sit on TikTok the whole day. We laugh, we chat, we dance. But have you used it more? Have you used it to benefit others or to benefit yourself? Have you? I'm sure most of us are now questioning ourselves. Probably not. Yes, and that's true. Most of us haven't used it as we should. We can use social media to influence positive trends. Let's talk of healthy and well-being awareness. We can talk of mental health. This is a daily challenge these days, and mostly who are suffering are youth. Most of us are struggling with depression. Most of us are struggling with anxiety. These are things that we fail to talk about, we fail to open up, because there is nowhere we can talk, or there is nobody we can talk to. But we as the youth, we can use these platforms to create a safe space. We can create a space where people are able to talk about their issues, they're able to open up about their problems, they're able to realize that they need to seek medical intervention or they need to seek therapy, they need to be able to talk to someone. You know, sometimes you think you're okay until you hear someone talking about their own problems, and then you go like, oh, okay, I think I also have the same problem. There was a time I had depression, and I didn't even know it was depression. By that time, I am so sure I was drowning. And I didn't know how to come out of it. There were suicidal thoughts. A lot came through my mind. But it took someone else's account on TikTok for me to realize that I'm going through depression. And that's when I started opening up to people, trying to seek help. And then I found a therapist, somebody I talked to, and it really helped me a lot. So we might think everybody on TikTok is happy, everybody on Facebook is happy, but no, someone is struggling, and you can be the one who can help them out. You don't have to reach out to everyone, no, but just using your account to raise awareness about mental health, raise awareness about eating healthy, exercising, somebody will realize the problem they have and that they have to resolve it. I hope I am communicating. I hope I am helping someone out here. And I believe here we are people of different backgrounds. We have different careers. There are, I'm sure, medical personnel, lawyers, we talk of environmentalists, like lots of people out here. You can use your profession to build someone. You can use it to build yourself. We should aim to be better. We should aim to progress. Yes, I am Sunganan Moyo, a public health practitioner. But is that all I want to be? Is that all I want to be known as? No. I have goals. I have aims. In fact, I pray that some of you, by the end of the year, you hear me mentioning more titles at the end of my name. That's my goal. But I don't just want to use it just for me. I want, as I am growing, as I'm progressing, I should be bringing others along. I should be helping others along. So it is my hope, and I hope it's also for others, that we can use our digital platforms to help others. Environmentists, you can talk about preserving or protecting our natural habitats, protecting our endangered species. Medical practitioners, you can talk about whatever you think is necessary for us to know. Talk of how we can use our drugs, talk of how we can take care of our health. There is a lot we can do. So I do not want to take much of your time, but I just wanted to share that on how best we can use these platforms. let's not just use this for fun. There is nothing wrong with you laughing on TikTok, on Facebook, but there's more you can use that. There's more you can do with that. And also remember my first point about learning. Challenge yourself. Every 2 months, find a new book, read it. Go on the internet, find new courses, enroll yourself, study. All those certificates will not be useless. They'll take you somewhere at some point. So yes, please enroll in courses. Please take up new things every single day. Challenge yourself. Thank you so much. I hope I've helped someone tonight. Back to you, moderator.
Thank you so much, Ms. Moyo, for the enlightening presentation. Your insight into how digitalization can be used by the youth to access information, learn, and also get other things without boundaries is really inspiring. And it's amazing to also see how social media can be used not just as a place for laughing, but as a place to harness positive change and also to empower others, to benefit ourselves and also benefit others. Now, as we move forward, I encourage all our participants to reflect on what Ms. Moyo has shared and also send in your questions, comments, and reflections. Your engagement is vital in this webinar we are having. Without any engagement, it means we don't need to be here. So I want you to actively participate, share in any question that you have, and we will have enough time to address all your queries and during the questions and answer session. So thank you once again, Ms. Moyo, for sharing your valuable insight. Now we are excited to also welcome our next speaker, who is in the person of Mr. Emmanuel Maleka, who will explore another crucial fact about our team tonight. And he will be talking about how AI, artificial intelligence, can be used by the youth to harness a lot of things, and he will address also the challenges and ethical implications of artificial intelligence, and particularly regarding job displacement and data privacy. Also, he will shed light on the opportunities AI presents for the youth, emphasizing how young people can harness this achievement for their benefits. So Mr. Emmanuel is a distinguished scholar and also practitioner in the pharmaceutical science. He completed his Bachelor of Science in Pharmaceutical Science at Mbarara University, which is in Uganda, and he is continuing his studies in the same university, where he is pursuing a Master's of Science in Pharmaceutical Analysis. So in addition to his academic pursuit, Mr. Emmanuel is currently the head of Health Department at the African Young Leaders Foundation. And also Mr. Emmanuel is the Vice President of Ratarak Community in Mbarara University. So Mr. Maleka, the floor is yours. And please, you have not less than 15 minutes. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Malika. Are you with us? Hello, Mr. Malika. I see he's in the room. Unfortunately, I don't know
Hello,
what is happening. Okay.
could you
Can you
allow me
please come
share?
on camera?
Could you allow
Yes,
me
please.
share?
You are allowed to share your screen.
Okay. And the option is not okay.
Oh, sorry, I have to give you the right to do that.
Can you see?
Yes, please.
Okay, let me share my screen now.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, let me share my screen. Okay, can you see me right now?
Yes, please.
Okay, good evening from this side, from Uganda, East Africa. My name is Emmanuel Maleka Simba, and I'm happy to be one of the esteemed panelists or speakers for today on the theme from Clicks Progress for International Youth Day for 2024. I'll be sharing about artificial intelligence and the future of healthcare. To our listeners and those who are tuned in, I don't know what comes to your mind when you see this picture projected on the screen. Can someone let me know what comes to their mind when they see this picture projected?
Please, you are still on the first slide, so probably you need to move to the second slide if you want.
Can you now see it? I think I'm having a
No, please.
what could be that issue? Because here they are moving. I don't really know why.
Perhaps you need to put it in a presentation mode so that we can be able to see.
Okay, a minute. Do that.
And it will also be advisable to share the whole screen.
Okay.
Mhm.
Is it good now?
Now you have moved to the objectives.
Hello, can you advise? Is it now okay?
No, please. You are currently on the objectives, which I think is not okay. They said that you should share the whole screen. Oh, sorry. You have now.
I really don't know what the problem is. I'm trying to share the whole screen. I think maybe I shouldn't share a screen. I could just share the slides later, maybe, because
Yeah, that is also another option. Thank you for considering that.
okay. So let's go right to the topic of today. Once again, my name is Emmanuel Maleka, and I'm glad to present about artificial intelligence and the future of healthcare. On such a day, we shall be able to learn about what artificial intelligence really is and then discuss its applications. We shall be able to understand the role of AI, especially in healthcare, since that's my area of expertise. However, we shall also open it up to the different disciplines. We shall also be able to understand the relationship between AI and then the future of healthcare, and then finally delve deep into the demerits or disadvantages of AI, especially to the youth in Africa. Now, I don't know how we all understand AI, but there are various definitions of artificial intelligence, one of which refers to a set of technologies that enable computers to perform a variety of advanced functions, including the ability to see, understand, and translate spoken and written language, to also analyze data and make recommendations, and that is according to Bill Gates, 2010. Now, artificial intelligence enables computers and machines to simulate human intelligence and then also incorporating problem-solving capabilities. To understand the roles of artificial intelligence, especially in healthcare, we need to look at the mental health support through the use of innovations such as the chatbot bots. Talk about virtual therapists that you can approach for mental health solutions in case maybe someone is depressed or is having challenges that is degrading their mental health. They could reach out to the innovations, for example, chatbots that you can virtually talk to, or the virtual therapists that you just go online and then type in your challenge, and then they give you a prospective solution you could utilize. Now, the other role of AI is electronic health record keeping. Artificial intelligence models are able to keep track of records that are manually written by doctors in hospitals, and then they can translate that data into an electronic database that can be kept well to improve the record keeping of the hospitals and health centers. We also have robotic surgeries, whereby we have robots aiding doctors in remote settings, so that we can have enhanced efficiency of the surgeries within a limited period of time. Then we also have drug discovery and development, whereby AI models are used to optimize and look for the real formulas that are required to come up with a drug that could be used to target a disease in our body. Then we also have AI being used in predictive analytics, whereby we look at the future and predict what could happen, and then we can solve it early by creating an intervention way before it happens. These days, AI is also being used to scan people's genes and the genetic makeup of the body, so that they can be able to come up with personalized medicine that actually is going to work for that particular person. Because we realize that different medicines are made for the general population, but they don't target the individual illnesses, because we have different makeups as people. Then we shall also look at the ethical considerations to look at when using AI, because most of us use AI wrongly. Now, one of which is bias and fairness. I realize that these AI systems can amplify existing biases in data that is used to train them, because AI models are just trained based on existing data that they get to learn, and then they based on that to give us outputs. So without putting into consideration the data you're using to train the AI models, it may be disastrous for us. So you need to put that into consideration before designing an AI model or using it actually. Then we have transparency. Now, AI and other deep learning models are often criticized for their little insight into how humans decide. For them, they just give an insight of how a human could actually decide, especially when giving decisions that are going to be critical. They don't go deep into how a real human reasons. So that could be detrimental in a way that it could give a false solution that could actually lead to a loss of a life. We also have privacy and surveillance. Now, AI models, especially in data analytics and facial recognition, pose a significant effect on breaching data. I'll give an example. Personally, I'm not having expertise, academic background in information and technology systems. However, I've been able to be a principal investigator on different projects that involve AI. And here in my country, there is a project that we developed. It is a prototype that employs AI to give an output. And then we presented it to the government, and they almost arrested us, because they are like, you're posing an issue of national threat. Why do you want to access people's data? Why do you want us to give you the national database? yet this is individual data that people need to actually give consent before you use it. So this is something that should be taken into consideration before actually you use an AI model, be it one you're building or one you're just using online. Then we also have autonomy and control. Now, the use of AI in decision-making processes undermines human autonomy, especially without one's consent and understanding. In most cases, AI is used to give decisions whereby people don't even have to consent to such decisions. And then those decisions may turn up to create create burdens that were not consented on, which is going to be malicious. So we need to put into consideration the autonomy of human beings. And then when we talk about the demerits or disadvantages of AI, especially to the youth, because I realize the youth, especially in Africa, are embracing AI a lot these days in their researches, in the day-to-day lives. Talk about when people want to, especially the youth, when they want to play games, video games, they're using a lot of AI these days. So this has reduced social skills, especially among the youth, in that these days people are over relying on AI for solutions. People can't even go out there to congregate and exchange ideas because they feel like they can get ideas from the AI. They don't have to go to fellow people and have focus group discussions, which has reduced the social lifestyle of the youth these days. Then there's also bias and discrimination, as AI models could be trained on biased data, like I earlier on talked about it, that garbage in, garbage out. These AI models are based on machine learning. They use already existing data. Now, if that data is biased, it could lead to a real threat that could actually cause mistakes, and someone has to be accountable for that. Now, with the increasing advances in technology, AI is leading to job market uncertainty, which is ultimately going to reduce the number of jobs that people could actually take up. These days, everything is becoming automated. These days, AI is being used to give solutions that actually people are now losing their jobs, which is something that we should look into moving forward. Now, there's also lack of critical thinking due to overdependence on such technologies. Yeah, people are no longer utilizing their brains to think and forge way forwards and give solutions. They are actually reaching out to AI models to give solutions as immediate as they can actually get them. Then there is also cyberbullying and harassment, and this is a very critical issue that is eating up the youth. These days, there is a lot of manipulation online, in that these AI models create automated links with misinformation, and then people are highly jumping onto those links, opening them, and then this is what is actually leading to people being hacked, their accounts being hacked without their knowledge, because they would come with misinformation, and then they come incite you to tell you that maybe you've won a certain amount of money, and then click this link to claim your money, and then that way they access your credentials, and then they can actually get into your accounts and take control, which is something that is really eating us up, because young people are desperate for money. So this is something to look into moving forward. Then there's also data privacy and security breaches. This is so on an increasing rate, in that AI models are being used widely to target people and then breach their security and privacy through online links. Talk about hacking into your accounts, bank accounts, and then they can actually even withdraw money without your knowledge. So this is something that, as the youth, we should actually look into, and moving forward, be vigilant as we look at achieving the Africa we want. Yeah. Then I would also look at how can we as the youth get involved into embracing the change of AI, but without actually taking in the demerits or the negative side of it. How do we stay vigilant? How do we concentrate on the positive side of AI and then come up with innovating solutions in that area? You don't have to be someone from the technology advancement discipline. You can actually work together with any interdisciplinary team, having people with different expertise, and then you come together and then put a project that actually is going to solve issues that are actually in Africa. Yeah, I so much believe in interdisciplinary teams because they bring different knowledge pools, and then they can come together with ideas and transform them into innovations. So AI has transformative potential in improving patients' outcomes, enabling diagnostic accuracy, and then even personalizing treatments. However, ethical considerations such as data privacy and the need for regulatory frameworks and the importance of human oversight must be highly followed when using AI. So as the youth, we need to contribute to this new change through supporting research, through advocating for ethical practices, and even education and awareness. I will conclude this session by saying that anyone who is not willing to embrace AI in this era shall be remembered in history. And this was a quote said by my professor, Professor Joel Bazira at Mbayo University of Science and Technology, Uganda. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Malika Simba. I think we are losing him shortly, but he's still in the room. So thank you for the compelling presentation on AI and its implications for healthcare. I believe that we have learned a lot from your presentation. And at this juncture, I would like to send a big hello and welcome to all our viewers on YouTube. If you are enjoying the conversation, please drop some emojis in the chat to show your support and feel free to share the link with anyone who might benefit from today's conversation. We also encourage you to keep sending in your questions and comments. We will address as many as we can during our questions and answer sessions later. So moving ahead, I would like to introduce our next speaker for this webinar, and that is Miss Joanne Itongo, who is a lawyer and also a student leader and first cohort alumni of the Junior National Law Council. She is also passionate advocate for youth inclusion. So today she will be talking about youth inclusivity in the digital world, focusing on how young people can occupy digital space and actively participate in shaping the digital landscape. Ms. Joanne, we look forward to your insightful presentation and eager to learn or to hear what you have for us this evening. Please, you are welcome, and I would request that you come on camera so that we also see you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. Good evening, everyone. My name, I would like to repeat the introduction because it didn't seem like some words were not right, but I would like to put some bit of correction on that. My name is Itungo Joanna, as you mentioned. I'm a lawyer by profession. I'm a graduate from Uganda Christian University here in Uganda, and an alumni from the Julius Nyerere Leadership Center, and also an alumni from the Youth Line Forum. And I'm interested into leadership, and that's why my major concern of today is to talk about youth inclusivity in regards to digitalization. As we speak now, I didn't know that I had to share my video in the first place. I had traveled to the eastern part of Uganda for the youth celebrations, where we had to host the president, and we finished the event late. So I didn't have time to share my video, but due to the fact that I'm not sharing a PowerPoint, I think it's better if I share my video so that we can easily get one another. Is it okay?
Yes, please, it's okay.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So I will not differ much from the previous speakers. From the first speaker who mentioned about COVID. In regards to that fact, I remember while I was still at the university during the COVID period, most people were forced to break off from the university to first go back home because they didn't have the ICMIS, the online system of learning. So that means that the people we completed with in our high school level, they are forced to rest for 1 year. As for us, we continued studying because the university would provide online education. So that affected them by the space of 1 year, yet we were in the same year of study. So that's why I'm saying that we are in an era where we really, really need digitalization, not only for the youth, but also in other activities, even the elders, and each and every activity right now needs digitalization. That's why the previous speaker, for him, he was lucky enough that he has some computer skills, but some of us, you can really take a whole day trying to put a PowerPoint and you cannot even locate how to put it on the video call. So that's why I'm saying that we need those skills as the youth. And if I'm to go direct to my point of concern, how the youth really can include themselves, or how the government in the different countries can promote youth inclusivity in regards to digitalization. We have had many programs as the youth, so unlucky enough that we've not really been included in most areas, be it leadership, but leadership aside, this is part of entrepreneurial skills, and where we, the youth, really need those skills in order to curb the effect of unemployment. So if take us through one of the ways how the youth can really include themselves, or how the current government can really help us that the youth can include themselves in order to promote digitalization. One of the ways is that government can put out a call for youth in their own countries to develop a national ICTs Young Leaders Program. For example, the way you have an organization, there you have a platform for the youth. I think as the youth, we can mobilize ourselves as in Africa, and we say we need a Young Leaders Program in terms of ICT. And in terms of that, we are becoming leaders, and then we can organize and advertise ICT-related campaigns, initiatives, youth programs, and other activities which work to contribute to the fulfillment of the 2030 agenda. If most of us are certain about the sustainable development goals in regards to the 2030 agenda, we know that digitalization is one of them. And so in order for us to promote this sustainable development goal, I think as young leaders, we can have the program of the ICT. So in regards to that, we can work and contribute to the fulfillment of the agenda, and also we can lobby for more comprehensive youth participation in political and forums at local, regional, international levels, because you realize that the previous speaker was talking about AI, but as Africans, we are still backwards in regards to AI. We first took it for granted as if it was not concerning us, but we are coming to reality. Reality has slapped us really hard. At the moment, someone can easily generate a speech using AI. You can go to a clinic, you can go to a hospital, and they would use AI. What the previous speaker said, anything else you can use AI. You've seen the songs, what AI is doing. People are releasing songs and they are using AI. So really, you can see that AI has come here to stay. So it's upon us to upgrade ourselves, to evolve and accept that the world is changing and we need digitalization. Because what is affecting us as Africa is we take things for granted. As other countries of the Western are developing, for us, we think they don't concern us, but at the end, it's us to lose. And by the time we cope up with the Western countries, we have already lost it. And that's why we are always backward, because we take long to give a step ahead and catch up with the developing countries. The other inclusivity action that we can have is organizing and promoting ICT-related challenges and competitions for youth. We've seen football competitions, we've seen writing and, study skills competitions. Then why don't we have ICT competitions as the youth? Why can't the government fund competitions that ask youth to develop creative digital solutions to existing national or global challenges? For example, we have climate change, we have the challenges. Why don't we ask the youth to have an innovation that how can we help each and everyone, both at the local level, at the national level, how can everyone participate and use digitalization? For example, if someone uproots a tree, how can we be able to monitor this so that whoever uproots a tree, we can make sure that that same person plants the tree? So I think we can use this, and that governments should really be willing to fund these programs. And this can not only help at the national level, but we can also go international based on the innovations that we would have introduced as the young people. And the other inclusivity action, we need to organize regional youth forums. I don't know about Zambia, I don't know about other countries, but in Uganda, these are things that we are not seeing at the moment, though we have the ICT incubation hubs. So as the youth, as I stated earlier, that in Africa, we tend to look at things for granted. Right now, we are not participating, but in the years to come, we shall realize that everyone needs digitalization. Everyone needs those skills for them to cope up with what is happening in the world. We also need to engage young people through youth employment opportunities or open space as youth labs, where young people can find mentors and support networks or develop new digital skills. For example, someone has an innovation. I happen to have done intellectual property, I happen to have done cyber law. But you find out that someone has an innovation as the youth, but we are not guided on how someone can patent this innovation, on how someone can protect the intellectual property rights. So what can we do as the youth? I think as the youth, we need mentors to help us, because as you innovate, there's someone who has the knowledge about it, and someone can easily manipulate you and take up your innovation. Yet these are supposed to be entrepreneurial skills for the youth. And in regards to that, you find that someone has had an innovation, but because they lack knowledge and the skills, and the other person has registered their patent or the intellectual property rights. And those are the challenges that we are facing. So I think we need to have mentors. We need to have these incubation hubs to make sure that the youth can be mentored in terms of technology, and also to open up their mindset that technology is not just on what we see on media. It is more than that. Technology is not about TikTok. Technology is not about WhatsApp. Technology is about AI. It's about using AI to treat people. It's about using AI to release the music in the music. It's about the different activities. We should not be limited due to the mindset of we can only use digitalization on media, and on which media we don't even use genuinely, because we realize that the first speaker was talking about how someone can go and TikTok, and you spend the whole day scrolling, watching videos, you're smiling. Yes, if you're stressed, they might hope you have a laughter. You can, you can spend your day, but at the end, what have you gained as a young person? Have you benefited from these people? But as the young people, if we can use these spaces so that we can listen to mentors, because for example, right now, people have tuned in to listen on YouTube and a live stream, and they are learning. And that is one of the advantages that we can have of using, digitalization. People can tune in on Instagram to listen to mentors. People can go on Google and search for books and, novels, and read and attain new skills. So why don't we use the media for other different activities? Because as the youth, we need to be informed. However much me being a politician, however much we need to overtake the elders, however much we need our spaces, however much we need to be included in different platforms, I think we also need to be informed, and we cannot be informed by watching TikTok dancing videos as the world is running so fast. We cannot really take on our spaces without we are not informed. So I think we need to go deep, we need to go further, not until reality slaps us so hard that we can regret why we didn't really realize this as early as possible. And the other action is that we can expand the national elementary and secondary school curriculums to include teaching on digital empowerment skills. I don't know about your countries, if really you have digitalization as one of the course units in your curriculum, but in Uganda, really, we don't. And that's one of the challenges that we are facing, because if we had, just imagine you've grown up from nursery and primary and secondary, and you know how to use a computer. At this moment, you wouldn't be facing a problem of how to put a PowerPoint, really. You wouldn't be facing a problem of how to write, how to type, how to use the computer, how to put an innovation. It wouldn't really be hard, but because we don't have these skills right out from our schools, right out from, from our nursery levels, from our primary levels and secondary levels, realize that we are only fighting to get these skills while at the university. And this becomes for us so hard that immediately 4 years are not enough for you to cope up with everything in digitalization, because after the 4 years after graduation, then you really need to have practice, which is really so hard. So I think we need to introduce this into the curriculum so that the more you practice, the more you learn, and the more you get it better. So I think we need to engage our governments to have this curriculum, as we have the curriculum activities of sports and everything. Can we have the curriculum of digitalization so that we can also have these activities? We can get these skills as the young people. So those are the few points that I can give as how we can be included as the youth. And also, we need to fight for our spaces. Now, this is not from what I had to say, but we need to fight for our spaces as the youth. And if we get a chance of representing the young people, for example, if I'm a leader and I have to lobby for the young people on how they can get these mentorship skills, how they can get these incubation hubs on skilling, I think we need to do our work. We need to do the service, because we tend to fight and make promises, but then at the end of the day, we find that we have not created the impact. So if we get a chance of being in these spaces, of accessing the government programs, I think as the youth, we need to lobby for the rest that have sent us to represent them, and also make sure that everyone benefits from these programs. Because my benefit, as long as one is mentored, I feel okay that someone has earned from my work. So I think everyone needs that. Yeah, so that's all I can say at the moment. I'll be ready for any questions.
Thank you so much, Ms. Joanne. Thank you for the clarity about the introduction. And in fact, you have shared a very important information, and we have gotten a lot of insight from your presentation. We will come back to you with some questions. So as we move up our insightful discussion, I would like to also share a special message from our founder, Mr. James Afreku, and our co-founders, Mr. Junaidu Abdul Kadir, and also Mr. Alfred Kedai, along with our esteemed Board of Trustees and the entire AYLF International Executive Team, and the head of department, as well as the national president. So they extend a heartfelt Happy International Youth Day to all the young leaders out there. They commend your efforts and dedication in making the world a better place and encourage you to keep it up. Also, they want you to know that they are actively following and supporting today's discussion. So thank you all for staying with us and engaging with us. And moving on to our next speaker, who is Mr. Donald Josh. So he will be talking about empowering youth for sustainable change and discussing the pivotal role youth can play in achieving the sustainable development in the 21st century And also, Mr. Donald is a dedicated social worker, student, and a passionate human rights activist, and also a sexual and reproductive health rights advocate. And he's committed to individual freedoms and social justice because of his background in libertarianism. So, Mr. Donald, we are eager to hear your perspective and learn from your experience. Please take the floor, and I would kindly request you to also come on camera so that we see you. In case you also want to present, kindly do that. Thank you.
Greetings to you all. Unfortunately, I will not be sharing my screen because I'm having network. I'm having electricity problems this side. Thank you for the introductions. I hope I'm audible. You can confirm if I'm audible.
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. So, as said, I'm Donald Jose from Zimbabwe. I'm a social work student and I'm a passionate human rights activist and the local coordinator under Students for Liberty, where we fight about liberty and freedoms of African people and everyone in the world. So I'm so happy to be part of the panelists in celebrating this International Youth Day. So I'm excited about the theme of the year, which is from cliques to progress. I just want to emphasize or give some explanations before I go into detail of my presentation. When he said from cliques, we are just referring from an online engagement like what we're having now. We are having a Zoom meeting and we are engaging, sharing different perspectives and ideas, which is a good thing. So after having this online engagement, we are now need progress. What I just discovered is African youth, we are good at sharing ideas, but at the end of the day, we don't take action. We just discuss ideas and it ends like that. So I'm just emphasizing to each and every one of the youth who is present to this discussion. Guys, let's take action. After having different dialogues, online meetings, all of those things, we need to put them into action so that we will achieve our sustainable development or change. That was my first part. Then delving deep into my presentation, which is empowering youth for sustainable change or development in the 21st century, which is the digital era phase. So as we embark in this digital era phase, we are guided from clicks to progress, and we want to achieve sustainable development. Let me just define what is sustainable development so that we have the light of where we are coming from and where we are going. Sustainable development or change refers to a concept of meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So in this case, we want to achieve something. For example, we've got the agenda, the African Agenda 2063. It emphasizes on many things, and I like one of the pillars or one of the targeted outcomes, which is a well-educated African citizens with skills which is underpinned by science, technology, and innovation. And today we are talking about technology, which is the digital phase. We are in the 21st century. So what do we need to do as youth to achieve this sustainable development through digital literacy? The first thing, we need to be educated, as Ms. Moyo have already mentioned before. We need that knowledge to know what is digital literacy. We need that knowledge on how do we handle digital literacy, on how do we adopt digital skills as we are in the 21st century where everything is being done online. We are having interviews online, we are having meetings online, but to some of the colleagues or to some of our peers, they don't even know how to operate or how to log in a Zoom meeting, like our Missy Joanne was saying. Some of them, they don't have the knowledge. So what do we need to do? We need to educate our peers, or we need to educate our different colleagues on how do we use this technology. For instance, we can start with a simple task to ask someone to create even a group, a WhatsApp group. Some of the people don't even know how to create it. And then if you are talking about the digital era, there are a lot of work we can do online. We can do advocates. As for me, I'm a passionate human rights activist, particularly interested in child advocacy. So I found it worth to leverage these digital platforms, for example, WhatsApp. As for me, for example, I have created a WhatsApp group with the title Fighting Against Child Abuse. And then we are engaging with different people, sharing ideas. How can we fight child abuse and so forth? So what I'm just saying, what we need first in order to thrive in this digital era, in this 21st century, is to get education and get the right knowledge and skills to use these digital platforms, so that we will achieve what we will achieve the sustainable development. When we are talking about sustainable development, there are several key aspects we need to address. There is issue of environmental sustainability, social sustainability, economic sustainability, governance, and institutional sustainability. All these areas need to be looked up. For example, if we're talking about environmental sustainability, we can launch an online webinar discussing issues to how can we protect our environment, how can we educate people on protecting our species, all those things. But we can't do that if we don't have knowledge. We can't do that if we are not exposed. So what we need now is the education and exposure on how to utilize these online platforms. As I said on my topic, which is empowering youth for sustainable change or development in the 21st century. So what we are trying to achieve now is sustainable development, which is a development which is not just going to be done for a year or for 2 years, but which is going to sustain for a long run, where our kids or our youngsters are going to enjoy the benefits of that change. So what we need first, I talked about education and awareness, where we educate our colleagues, our peers on how to leverage these digital platforms. And then there are different skills which we need to, I'm glad there's someone who mentioned about putting these issues of digital literacy in the educational curriculums. So if you put these digital literacy things into educational curriculum, where we can teach youth and different students about sustainable development actions that they can do to thrive in the 21st century. We can introduce sustainable agriculture, where someone who is doing agricultural farming will be utilizing the social media, for example, Facebook, motivating others that we can do this as youth. For instance, maybe I'm having a goat project or I'm having a cattle project, so that when I'm posting now on social media, my caption or my caption should be a motive to someone, not to have competition. Because what I discovered also in the 21st century, us as youth, we are now engaging in competitions rather than in learning. We are now saying, I want to be like this person. But the way we are doing it now, it's now like a competition. We are not helping each other, rather we are competing. So I encourage each and every one of us not to compete, but rather to consult each other and get skills and get knowledge and learn how to do it from your side, or how you can engage in the similar project or activity. So moving on, we should also have a global network or cooperation. Whilst we are connecting online, we need to make sure, for example, now we are celebrating the International Youth Day. We are connecting with people from Uganda, with people from Zimbabwe, with people from different African countries. So we need to keep on doing this so that we share insights and learn from each other. Those who have experience, those who need to share practical lifestyle examples, so that we will keep on learning. So as youth, we need to make sure that we play a pivotal role in promoting sustainable development. How? We should keep engaged. We should volunteer in different community-led initiatives, we have youth-led organizations, we have associations which are being led by youth. Instead of going there and start to monitor or compare, what about this person? What are they really doing? Can we create something that is more attractive than theirs? Let's engage in conversation and learn from each other, then support each other. Because as we in Zimbabwe are being guided by the Ubuntu philosophy, I am because we are because I am. So in this regard, we don't want to strive. We can't strive in this world alone, but rather we need each other to help each other and reinforce our ideas and put them into action. As we have these online discussions, at the end of the day, what do we need now is to put action in each and everyone's country. What are we emphasizing? What are we celebrating as youth? We are celebrating progress. And then if we are celebrating progress, we have challenges that we faced as youth in trying to thrive in this different African economies, politics and stuff. So we need to help each other and make sure that everyone has got the right knowledge, everyone has learned the right skills on how to thrive in this digital era. And also that this other issue is we are young leaders, we need to know which are types of leadership skills that are efficient or that are crucial for us to know as we are striving in the digital era. Because we will keep on doing or promoting old-fashioned leadership styles, which cannot be sufficient or effective in the 21st century. But rather, we should know how to leverage these digital skills, having effective communication skills, so that if we manage these social media handles, we'll be able to convince and inspire other peers or other colleagues. So that's what I have for today. I've got a short presentation. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I'm open for questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Josh, for the insightful presentation. I believe you did justice to this topic and you have set the tone. So as our last speaker, this time for questions and answers. And in fact, I'm really brushing on the comments that is flowing in the chat, both on YouTube and in this Zoom room. They are very inspiring and the youth are really enjoying the conversation. So I don't know. I want to give a floor to some participants who would like to ask questions. If there are some who are in this room that they want to ask any question, please go ahead or mute your mic and speak.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity of asking questions. My question is directed to Miss Maleka. Where I was following when he was presenting on the issue of AI. From my side, my question is: does AI is not promoting? What can I say? Is it not promoting? Is it not promoting dependence to different people? Because as far as I'm concerned, there are documents, there are books which you can read on how to use AI. And at the end of the day, if I'm an AI legend, there's no time for me to think outside the box without using an AI. And at the end of the day, my decisions are being guided by an AI. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the input. And Mr. Malika, do you want to address it shortly?
Okay. Thank you very much for that wonderful question. Unfortunately, I didn't get your name and part of the question because of the network. However, I think I didn't get your question so well, but what I got is that isn't AI going to promote dependency on okay, isn't it going to take out people's way of thinking, individual way of thinking, and then depend on machines for knowledge? I would say yes, because AI has revolutionized the way people think these days, in that everything, just like you said, for you want to run to AI models to get solutions every time, But I want you to imagine times when we didn't have AI, because AI just came recently, a few years back. Now, I want us to go back to that originality of work, because these days there's a lot of copy and paste, a lot of wash, I call it wash and wear. People are just copying everything. I happen to be a researcher. And when you review papers, you look at a paper that was done in 2022 being similar to a paper that is being done in 2024. Because people feel like they no longer have time to go back and be original. But I feel like that should be erased in a way. That's why I talked about responsible use of AI. Let us embrace the responsible use of AI, and then we can be able to concentrate on the positive side. If you have a challenge with maybe you have an academic challenge that you need a solution to, sit down and think about it before you run to AI, and then reach a point where you can't think any further, and then go to AI and refine it, but don't go there and then copy and paste everything and then come and present it. I feel like we should use AI responsibly. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Simba Malika. So let me add this question to it so that maybe if so you address the ethical implications of AI in healthcare, including job placement and data privacy. So what measures can be put in place to mitigate this risk while ensuring that AI development continues to benefit society? Because in your last quote, you mentioned that anybody who doesn't embrace AI in this century will be remembered in history, which is a very strong submission. So please, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, our host for today. Now, AI, just like I said, AI is revolutionizing the world these days by making work easier and more efficient. However, it has a negative side that is also equally as big as a positive side. So I feel like, in my opinion, for us to manage AI or its use so well, there should be policies governing its use, especially on data privacy, on on prospects such as records. You know, we don't have a lot of policies that are made to govern how AI is being used, because every day AI changes. There is a lot that is going on that is being modified in AI. That's why you see a lot of innovations every day. So we don't have stringent policies that are governing its users of now. So I feel like moving forward, we should be able to engage policymakers and then innovators who are coming up with AI models to incorporate in the aspect of data privacy, because very many people are being targeted, very many information as data sets are being reached out without people's consent. So I feel like governments should come up with frameworks that govern data privacy, and that way we shall be able to use AI the right way, because it has come and it is here to stay. It is having a lot of good effects, and the positive side is way much bigger than the negative side. So that's why we should be able to embrace it and be able to use it wisely. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So as we wrap up your session, do you have any final thoughts or any concluding remark that you'd like to share in less than 1 minute? That would be very perfect. In case you don't have to, that is the fine. Hello, Mr. Malika. Are you still with us?
Oh, yeah. I am still around. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much. You asked me to share my final remarks, and I still have a lot to say, but I'll wrap it up in a minute or so, and then we can move on. Yeah, so today we have explored how AI is not just a buzzword, but a crucial component reshaping healthcare. So from early disease detection to personalized treatments, AI promises to elevate the quality of care and enhance patient outcomes. However, and this is critical, as we embrace this technology as the youth, we must also remain vigilant. about the ethical challenges and ensure that human-centric care remains at the forefront. As we move forward, let us be the pioneers who not only witness but also actively shape this future by engaging in AI, participating in AI-guided research projects. Thank you for joining me on this journey of advancing technology, especially in health systems. And I encourage all the youth to embrace AI the positive way. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malika, and we were really honored to have you on board. So I have seen a hand from our Honorable Mr. James Apreku. Perhaps he has a question or something to address. Mr. James, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kofi, for the opportunity, and to all the panelists and everybody here. I really appreciate your effort, your contributions. My question goes to Mr. Maleka. It's very unfortunate what you just said is not going to be your last statement. In your earlier submissions, you made mention of the fact that AI is causing a lot of people to lose their jobs. So how do you reconcile, or how do you conciliate in between the goodness or the badness of AI, to human existence? So is it doing more good than harm, or it is doing more harm than good? All right. And then my next question goes to, I've actually forgotten, I think it's Miss Joan, the lawyer, right? So in terms of inclusivity, what are some of the challenges that are preventing we, the youth, from being included or considered with some critical positions? Is it that those in position have some doubt in we, the youth, regarding inclusivity when it comes to permanent making decisions that to move, the entire continent, country, or community? Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Malika, please go ahead and address the question, then Ms. Joanne will take over the mic.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, our dear host, for that wonderful question, Mr. James. Now, in my opinion, AI is solving a lot of complex issues. It is solving a lot of complex issues in short periods of time, and I would say that on a scale of 10, the negative side is about 4, as opposed to the positive side being 6. However, now, just like I said, AI is developing every other day. We are not sure of the future, whether it's going to be more detrimental than beneficial. But as for now, it has really helped us revisualize work. It has helped us improve the workloads and then solve complex issues, especially in healthcare. We are able to have major surgeries be done using robotics. We've been able to have AI driven cars. We've been able to have a lot of innovations come up. So I feel like AI on it is doing a lot of harm, but also helping us with benefits. So it is doing more harm than good for now, but I feel like the future is going to be a better place to be with AI. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Malika. And Mr. James, I hope you are satisfied. If not, you will reach out to him inbox or anywhere on social media, you get to him for more details. So, Miss Joanne, if you are still with us, please, the floor is open.
Thank you so much. If you'd allow me answer this question, non-audio, not a video call, is it okay?
It's all right. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes. The question he asked that what are some challenges that prevent the youth from being included? I think that's a better way I would put it, because I was talking about youth inclusion in terms of digitalization. So if I'm take you back, is that I remember saying that you have to fight for your space as young people. because we've had challenges, and for us to prove a point, it's like no one is going to think about us rather than us standing up and saying enough is enough. I think we need also to have a space. So we have faced many challenges, unemployment, and also that the resources are there, but people are not willing to make a step. The government and other organizations are not willing to make a step to put these entrepreneurship skilling hubs, the digitalization hubs, the ICT hubs, so that we can get those skills. So one of the challenges, however, as the youth, I think we need to work on our way of thinking. That is our mindset, because as we fight for the space, they are looking at our views from different perspectives, and also it depends on individual points of view. In general, it means that you have to take an active part in decision-making processes at all levels in our lives. The question is why? Why aren't young people sufficiently involved in decision-making processes that directly affects their lives? Because if I'm take you through one of the statistics is that at the moment, our planet is home to the largest generation of young people in history. There are 1.8 billion young people who are between 15 and 30 years old. Close to 90% of youth live in developing countries, shaping their societies, empowering their peers to take actions on global and local issues, while not leaving anyone behind. I think it's quite hard for young people to be heard by decision makers. What do you do as a youth? As a youth, rights and policy activists, as we occupy these spaces, as we become leaders, I think we need to stand up and fight for those who have no voice. As we take on these spaces, as we are sent to represent them, we need to do what we are supposed to do. We don't need to sit back and watch and feel like we are content. No, you need to step up and represent the people that cannot raise their voices. Due to the fact that you can easily access the resources, someone in a local area cannot easily access the resources. Someone in an urban area is far different from someone in a rural area. So as someone who is exposed in an urban area, how have you helped someone in a rural area? Are you ready to stand up and speak up and raise your voice for that person who cannot speak? Are you willing to stand up and say enough is enough? I think as the youth, we need the entrepreneurship skills, because the money is there, the government is having the resources, but we are not seeing these resources being utilized. So the challenges that we face is that as we fight for these spaces, our elders or the people we tend to say that they are too old for these offices manipulate us. We've had a love for money rather than having the skills. I can give an example today for our celebration of the International Youth Day is that people were majorly aiming at the allowances rather than having a council meeting. So just imagine if someone is a mentor and is willing to transfer the skills, but as a young person, for you don't want the skill, but you want that person to give you money. But then you don't know how to use this money. You don't know how to invest this money. You've not been mentored. So how is it going to help you? That's how we only use that money to go buy data, go on TikTok, go watch videos, watch things that cannot really build you up, things that really cannot help you. So for us to be included, I think we need to change our mindset. We need to have our points in decision making. We need to stand up. You always hear that decision makers and adults say that children and young people are future leaders, but wouldn't it be wise to start preparing us for this future before it actually arrives? Do you have to first wait for AI to take on so that you be like, oh, I have to wake up, I have to know about the computer skills? Don't you think that would be too late? I think it starts today. We don't need to wait for the future. We need to start now. Because one thing I can tell is that digital transformation is not about technology, it's about change. You can fail at a high rate, you can fail fast, but you can learn faster with digitalization. I don't know if many of us can try to get that. So we have many challenges. We are willing to be included, but then only what can make us be included and what can make us be provided with the resources, we need to change our mindset. We need to change on how we look at things. We need to know that we need to stand up on our own, stand up on your feet, fight for yourself, because no one is willing to step up for you rather than yourself. Since you're exposed, you're able to tune in on YouTube and watch us live. And as we transfer this knowledge, I think you can do the change. You can go back and change that person who's not willing to tune in on YouTube, who cannot access a smartphone. How are you going to help that person? Because you cannot fight alone as the youth. You need a group of youth. You need to change and fight as a group, not on a personal basis. So that's what I'm saying. As the youth, we can fight for inclusion, but in this digitalization, it needs support. Where I want to be. Yeah, I think I have really done justice to the question, and I'm willing to answer any other more questions. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Joanne, for the provocative answers you have given. I believe that a lot of people are taking inspirations from it. So I have seen another hand, whether the person wants to ask a question to you or not. Otherwise, I have other question which you nearly talked about it. But considering the fact that in our region, particularly, you see a lot of places like infrastructures and also resources that really hinders young people using digital devices in a professional and appropriate way. And in fact, in your presentation, you even made mention of it, that it's really important that we have a legal literacy. So how can we mitigate this breach? I believe government has a role to play, but for me, I'm focusing more on what you think can be individual responsibility, because most of the time we always want to put every need in the hands of the government, which I believe to some extent is right, but we individuals also have some key responsibility in ensuring that certain things are being done. And for instance, digital devices have now become part of individual lives, and we cannot wait for government to do everything for us before we know that we are also connected and more. So what advice or what suggestion do you have on this? Thank you.
Thank you. Is that directed to me?
Yes, please.
Oh, well, thank you so much. As I stated earlier, that it draws back to an individual, because as you tend to say that you're not included, first of all, you have to think what have you done? Have you changed your mindset? Because it so believes that we are coming from different countries. For example, I'm from Uganda, but I can tell you that in my village, people don't know anything about AI. They really don't know anything in regards to AI. There are these people who are really traditional, people who have believed in culture so much. So how can we try as the youth to make sure that we curb this and this comes to an end? It means that me as a person, as I go back home, I have to make sure that I change the mentality of one person. What if I start with my family members? Can I try to explain to my family members that we really need to have the digitalization, need to have the computer skills? And then the other thing is that in our cultures, we believe in strengthen and broaden gender, separation, and we believe that the girls should do this, the boys should do this, but it also drives us back. For example, if you were to have computer skills, I can tell you that you can reach at a moment whereby you to make research in regards to statistics, you find that the boy child is more. The percentage of people who go for computer skills or people are exposed to digitalization, you find that the boy child has a high percentage. So why don't we normalize and put the gender equality program? That if we are going to introduce in this curriculum and these people are going to participate in this, why don't we say that let them be 50 girls, let them 50 boys? Let us have this skill Can we get people from the different areas? Can we have balance, gender equality, so that everyone can benefit and fight this cultural belief, this traditional belief of, boys can do this, girls can do this. So this is one of the things that we need to fight. This is a personal, it has to be on a personal level, not on a group level, because we come from different areas, we come from different regions, from different countries, and each and every village, each and every group have a different perspective on what they believe in. So each one of us here knows what they believe in, where they come from, and you know how you can curb this on a personal basis. It should start with your family members, it should start with your close friends before even it goes to the community. The other point that I need to talk about is that supporting participation of all genders, that one I talked about, and also the law, because I believe that starting up this organization that you're in, I don't think it started as a group idea. I'm sure one person came up and said, I think this will work out. And then you called on your associates and said, can we do this? And they said, yes, I think we can push it forward. So if I'm a lawyer and I start pushing for a law, if I'm pushing for the law of protection of innovations, of protection of, intellectual property, and then I invite my other fellow lawyers and say, we can push this because as the young people, we are trying to put up innovations, but our laws are very weak. Our innovations are not protected, and we are being manipulated. So how can we do it? I started as a person, and then I invite the others to follow me. However much it's a community idea, it's a community, fight, but then it started from one person. So that's why I'm saying, as long as one person changes the mindset, you can change the mindset of many people, because that's what leaders do. That's what leaders stand for. That's what, as the youth, we stand for. Because even the people who found political parties, really, it's one person who came up with a name and the others followed, and then you draft the instructions, you draft the terms and conditions, and then it becomes a party, a group of people. So that's why I'm saying that it starts as an individual, as the youth, as we fight, it starts with you. And you have to fight for the change that you want to see. You have to fight, you have to differ from the rest. You have to make sure that what you're fighting for promotes a positive impact. And also support capacity, because as the youth, as we are walking and you see someone in the village or in where you're walking around, and you see this young person is having, the potential of doing something, why don't you support this person? Because we come from different levels, we come from different family backgrounds, some are from humble families, some are from well-off families, but if you can see someone has the idea of doing something, why don't you support this person? Because some people are not exposed. We are exposed differently. So why don't we help these people who have the potential, but they don't have the resources or the chances? How do we help? And someone talked about competition. We are in an era where most of us are competing with one another. That is one of the things that is going to make us stay behind as the youth. Rather than coming up to fight for one another, we are fighting one another. And without unity, I don't think we can make it far. So I think we need to help one another, look at ourselves as, as people who help a brother, because it's a hand. Give someone a hand. Hold them, be the shoulder that someone can, not a shoulder that, you turn back when someone needs to lean against you. So I think as the youth, we need to help one another. We need to stand up for one another rather than fighting each other. And I think with everything that I've said as a young person, as on an individual basis, mindset is the issue here on digitalization. We're all lying behind, and I think by the time we wake up, it will be very, very late. So I think we need to start today. And I believe if 66 people tuned in, I believe you are from different countries. And I know at least if you didn't pick something from me, you picked something from the other speakers, you picked something from any other person on this platform. So I think if you can pick one idea that you picked from here and transferred it to someone who didn't join, or transferred it to someone who doesn't have the exposure, I believe that we are spreading the message and we are mentoring many and many people. So that's all I had to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Miss. I have seen a couple of hands, and this guy has waited for long. Let me quickly run through and call him. Okay, so Mr. Ruya Tayak, I don't know whether I pronounced your name well. If not, sorry. If you are with us, kindly unmute and send in your submission. Thank you. In a minute, please.
Okay, thank you, moderator. And in first place, I would like to thank God for this opportunity. And secondly, I would like also to appreciate our facilitators, the presenters, from our sister, Ms. Moyo, Mr. Emmanuel, Mr. Arnold, Ms. Joan. So thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. It was really impactful and insightful. Mine is not a question, is a request to our brother Emmanuel. If it is possible, he can share with us the slide for his presentation about AI. Thank you so much. Wish all of you the best.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ruya Tayak. So the next person the next hand I see on my screen is Evans Nkoma. Please, in a minute, can you take the floor and say what you have to share?
Okay, thank you so much. My question is directed to Donald, the guy from Zimbabwe. You mentioned something about taking action, and you do not just have to end with ideas, you have to put them into action. Let's say I have a passion in what? For example, I want to advocate for maybe not advocate as such. I want to help the tertiary students who come from underprivileged backgrounds. How do I then, as a youth, I do not have resources, I do not have anything, but I have this tremendous idea that I think it can go a long way if I can register it as an organization or something like that. So my question is, you're just a youth person who has a passion in helping others, but you do not have resources. How do I then get started with this whole thing? Because you said you said something about taking action. You just don't have to come up with ideas. You need to take action as youth. So I need you to explain how
Thank
do
you
I.
so much. This is really understood, Miss Evans. This is really understood by the speaker. And in fact, there is a related question that I will also want to add to it so that he takes all of them together. So, Mr. Joyce, in your view, when answering to the question given by our Miss Evans, please reflect also on how can youth organizations and educational institutions better support young activists or individuals with brilliant ideas and want to start but don't have resources. Thank you. Please go ahead, Mr. Joyce. The floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you for your questions. So firstly, we know as youth, we don't have enough resources to put our ideas into action. So firstly, I advise us as youth to start by volunteering in organizations that are doing the work which is related to our ideas. For instance, you want to do the advocacy work, which is to help those people who are in tertiary education, but they don't have the money. You can work as an intermediator. You find out an organization or an NGO that is looking for underprivileged students, or that is giving what can I say, scholarships. Then you consult them first. You go with your proposal, or we need to do our work formally. So you can just write a proposal and then go and submit it to an NGO, or even to some companies. They might help. Because if you can just say, I'm going to start an organization, whilst you don't have the resources, I think it would be a waste of time again. So at first, you need to engage people who have got potentials, people who have got the resources. For example, those organizations that may be able to help us, because us as youth, we don't have the resources, and that's a true reflection. So my advice is to firstly seek to the organization which is doing the same work, which is going in line with your ideas or with your vision. Then secondly, when you are consulting these organizations, sometimes we need to be patient and we don't need to go there and what can I say? Just bring your idea on the table, but don't act like as if you know everything. Just go there and provide your idea, and then you present it in a way that everyone will understand it. Because if you don't have the idea, you don't have the resources, and then you go to an organization which has the resources, and you are doing like you are commanding them to give you the resources. In that scenario, they will not help you. So go and present yourself in a good manner, so that if you are going to get the funds, you will be using them in a good manner. So that's my submission on that.
Thank you so much. So to close your session, do you have any final remarks or additional points you would like to mention?
Okay. So I would like to thank you all guys for attending the conversation, and to all the presenters, thank you guys for sharing your insightful presentations. So I just want to say Happy International Day to all youth in Africa and in the world. So guys, let's continue doing the good work. Let's continue working together, collaboration, networking, sharing ideas. It will help us to reach our full potentials. It will help us to create the world we want to see. Thank you guys. And also action, guys.
Thank you so much, Mr. Josh. I believe Miss Moyo has waited for long and she's eagerly to speak. So, Miss, I have some questions for you, and I have seen other hands. I will only pick at least two individuals after I raise the question to Miss Moyo. Then we will bring the session to an end. So, Miss Moyo, in your presentation, you discussed about how youth can use social media effectively, not just as a laughing place or a place for dancing, but a place to acquire knowledge, a place to also use it professionally to benefit themselves and also benefit others. But here is the case that in most of the ADS that are promoted are not literally an educational content, and those ADS also target the youth mostly. So what suggestions do you have to the people out here on how they can use these tools effectively in getting the very best out of it, learning and acquiring any good thing from it rather than following things that are not really beneficial? And the second question is also, if possible, how do we actually build a brand using the social media in a way that can really be a beneficial to people around us, not only to ourselves? Please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much for the questions. But before I respond to the questions, I actually was raising my hand to add on what Donald was saying, responding to the question that he received. To the lady, I'm sorry I didn't catch her name, but to the lady who asked about how to get resources and all, a lot has already been said by Donald, so I just wanted to add on fundraising parts. On your own as an individual, or if you're working as an organization that you have built on your own, it is very important to come up with ideas for fundraising. You cannot always rely on partners. You cannot always rely on the government. You have to come up with ideas for fundraising. Let's say you host a dinner and dance. People have to buy tickets. People have to buy tables. That will help you raise money to support the children that you're talking about. You talk of entertainment, which is beneficial. Let's say you talk about hosting a match. Hosting a match where people are going to buy tickets. That will raise much funds that can help the children. It might not be a lot, but that is a start, and that will give you an insight of how much you have to go further, what you have to do, who you have to involve. So I just wanted to add on that. Now, coming back to my questions. Okay. I believe as an individual, we should be able to have an idea of what we want to do. We talk of sustainable development goals. That is general, that is global. But you as an individual, you should have a goal. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? What is your aim in life? When you know exactly what you want to achieve or what you're going after, it is very easy for you to divert from what is not related to what you want to do. I am focused on getting more in my academic area. I am focused on getting more in my career. I'll work towards that. I'll divert from whatsoever will keep me from reaching that goal. You go on TikTok, excuse me. You go on TikTok or you go on YouTube. When you were going there, your mindset was, I want to learn something new today. Let's say I want to learn about data analysis. Why will you go to watch a movie? Why will you go to watch people dancing? Why are you stopping on that video? Why are you even opening that video in the first place? So you have to keep in mind that I have a goal. You have to teach yourself discipline. Discipline will take us places. Teach yourself discipline. I want this, I have to achieve it. Whatsoever would distract me from reaching this far, from reaching this goal, I have to keep it aside. Give yourself time. 2 hours, I want to laugh on TikTok. You will laugh all you want. Keep it that 2 hours. The rest of the hours, do something else important. There's nothing wrong in dancing, nothing wrong in laughing. But at the same time, make sure you're keeping your eye on your goal. Thank you. I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, please, you did. You did. Thank you so much. So there is a saying that all work and no play make Jack a dull boy. So while you are playing, you should also prepare to learn afterwards. Thank you so much. Miss Millicent Olale, I believe you have something to say. Please unmute and speak to us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, the speakers. Hope I'm audible enough, right? Well, I just
Yes,
have
please.
one question. Yeah, I just have one question. I think this one can be answered by either Malik or either both of them, Malik or the lady, yeah, the lawyer, yeah. How can we actually ensure that youth just focus enough time for the AI that is like inclusive of the social media, and also just enough time for inclusion through intergenerational learning? We learn from our parents, we also learn from those elder people, because that actually they can help us in some of the skills and also experiences. Yes, how can we ensure that youth actually focuses just enough time for the AI, social media, and just enough time for the inclusion through intergenerational learning? Because actually these aspects are very key in molding us to be better leaders. Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, so who would like to go first? Anyone among you who want to go first can unmute and please answer the question. Okay, Mr. Donald, do you have something to say on it? Sorry, it's Mr. Malika rather. Yeah, it's Mr. Malika, not you, sorry. Mr. Malika and Miss Joanne. If Miss Joanne is still in the room, please, I would like you to go ahead.
Thank you so much. I really didn't get the question well. I'm a bit traveling and it's really getting late. I'm trying to keep around, but time is running so fast. So, what I remember what she asked was in line with intergenerational learning and how we can try to fit in within the timing, right? Can she really unmute and write more on the question?
Miss Olale, could you please rephrase the question shortly?
Yes, absolutely. Well, my question is, how can we ensure that youth focuses just enough time for the AI that's inclusive of the social media for learning, and also just enough time for inclusion through intergenerational learning? Because these are the aspects that mold us to be better leaders. Yeah, thank you. Hope I'm audible enough.
Thank you so much. So, if I'm to answer the way I understood the question, how can we ensure that youth are focused on media in regards to intergenerational learning? As in terms you asked, based on your statement and the tone, it's in a way that you asked in terms of as a leader, how can I ensure that the youth are focused on media and intergenerational learning? In regards to AI, as we spoke earlier from the beginning, AI is here to stay. It is not going to leave. However much it has positive impact and negative impact, we have to know that AI is here to stay. And digital transformation is not about technology, it's about change. As I earlier stated that you can fail fast, but you can learn faster with AI. So how can we use it? We kept on emphasizing how we, the youth, are misusing the media. For example, if I'm on WhatsApp, what is the reason as to why I'm on WhatsApp? One of the speakers were telling us how some people don't even know how to form a WhatsApp group. Even some people don't know how to send a location on a WhatsApp message. We are having apps that we don't know even how to use. We are having apps that we don't know how to use, and they help us develop. So how can we use it in regards to intergenerational learning? You understand with AI, for example, right now, I can relate with my law course that I cannot only read and refer to something that I learned yesterday. No, I'm reading, but I will refer to a case that was decided in 1987, a case that was decided in 1813. And why am I able to access that case? It's because there is Google, that is digitalization. It's because there is YouTube, that is digitalization, and that is why I can come in with intergenerational learning. The people before us, our great-grandfathers, studied this case, and at the same time, I come in right now, I'm studying the same case. So we are referring to the history to determine where I want to be, because you cannot determine where you want to be without referring to the history. If you want to be a good leader, then what happened during the 1980s? What were the people suffering from? During that time, you read, you go to media and search, you find out that those people were strong traditionalists. Those people, they used not even have smartphones. They used not even order the transport services that we use right now. They used not even have bus tickets, but rather if the train left those guys, they would walk on foot. But right now, what do we have? We have the transport means. So that's how you know that there has been transformation, and that is intergenerational learning. What we are doing right now, our children, our grandchildren in 2050s and what, they will be able to know what happened in this period, depending on the fact that AI is in existence, and also they can use any media platform to access all the information. And with this, they can decide whether they want to be a better generation or they cannot be a better generation, whether they want to adopt what we faced or whether they want to embrace the change that they really need to have. So that's what I'm meaning, that we are connecting with AI to make sure that we deliver the information. These people can easily access the information, not only today, not only tomorrow, but even in other years to come. This can help you if you believe that, there are some laws that we are in There are some laws in different communities that people used to have, but right now, if you read about them, you get shocked as a young person. It's because they can easily use AI, you can easily use other platforms to know about them. But if these people were not, if we are not able to access them, that means we can do the same mistakes. But if you search about history and you see how people suffered and what they interfaced and what was the effect, was it positive or negative, then you would interject and say, no, I think we cannot keep it the same way these people were. I think we can make better. I think now, because life is a process, everything is a procedure. If we were at the lowest, now we are at the middle stage. How do we go to the apex? How do we go to the most top stage? So I think that's how we can use AI and digitalization for intergenerational learning. And as a leader, I think you need it because you have to be informed. You need to know what happened in the past and what perhaps you might plan for the future, or what perhaps can solve the present challenges. Yeah, so in regards to the question, I think that's what she tried to mean. And I think I have done justice, or I've tried to answer.
Yes, please, you have really done justice to that. And maybe to add on how youth can also use it for learning but not being used for anything. I believe Ms. Moyo mentioned that you need to have a personal goal and you need to have your personal objective. You need to personalize what you want to learn. AI is really a powerful tool, and if you want to use it properly, then personalize it for what you really want to learn. For instance, if you want to be a life coach, you can use AI for learning different techniques about a life coaching programs and activities. But how do you do that? You need to know that this tool you are going to use has this material, and after reviewing this material, you'll continue to review other. But if you pick from here tomorrow, you don't do it, it becomes redundant. It's just kind of soliciting information that you don't need it. But if you want to really have a very good experience with AI, then you need to personalize it and embrace it positively. And beside that, there is also other thing that you can do as a youth if you want to really use AI. Well, that is knowing that AI has a general idea. Any information that it provides it broadly, but you need to now know which information that you exactly need. You cannot just pick any information that is provided by AI, but you need to know what you want and what you need the AI to provide for you. It's a good tool, but make a very positive use out of it. So before we conclude this session, I think the person who did not give us a final thought is Miss Moyo. In case you have any final suggestions or any remarks that you want to leave us tonight with, please, the floor is still yours to do that. If there is nothing, I can also take over again.
I think much has already been said, but I'll just remind each one of us that as we are commemorating the International, please, let us challenge ourselves to progress. Let the progress not just end on this webinar. When we go out there, challenge yourself to progress in life, work hard, have aims, have goals. That's what I can say. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, mate. And at this juncture, I would like to still thank our members and people who are watching us on YouTube, those in the Zoom room, for staying with us till these hours. I believe in other parts of the region, it's very, very late, but because they know what they will gain from this webinar, they decided to stay with us. So thank you so much for being with us, and we really appreciate that you dedicated time to be with us. So as we come to the end of our session, I want to take a moment to actually thank our speakers for dedicating their time to share an invaluable knowledge under the theme From Creeks to Progress, Youth's Pathway for Sustainable Development. And this has been a truly inspiring discussion. And we have explored the transformative impact of digitalization on youth engagement and leadership, and how it's reshaping our life and how it's going to still shape the future. And Ms. Moyo talks about exploring digital access and using social media for learning, not to benefit ourselves only, but also to benefit others, or to get positive things out of using social media. And we also learned from Ms. Malika how AI can be used in healthcare, or the impact AI is already having in the healthcare, and how we can also try to manage or balance it in order to have the positive outcome more of it. And beside that, Miss Joanne also gave us a very insightful perspective on how we can build an inclusive digitalization. And he made it to us that digitalization is not just about technology, but it's about change. So we need to find our place in this digital space. And also Mr. George also gave us a blueprint on how we as a youth can also take our initiatives in ensuring that we achieve the sustainable development that we have set for ourselves in this 21st century, which is the digital world. So I want to thank all our speakers once again, and also to thank our viewers. And one of the interesting comments that was written in the chat was, so this is an interesting discussion, but what do we take from here, or what is next for us, the youth? And that is a question for you to reflect on. If you did not get anything from any of the speakers, just at least get something from the comment session. If you are here to learn, then I believe this evening you are really inspired and you have gotten a lot. So it's time to put the knowledge that you have acquired from here in practical terms. It's time to change some of the lifestyles. If, for instance, you were not using social media for a positive outcome, then this is the time to change it. And if you think that AI is not a good tool and you never want to get closer to, then this is the time to change your mindset about it, because it's here to stay. And this is time for all of us, you, to find our way in this digital space, even though the disparities exist, because I believe, for instance, one of our speakers talk about not being able to turn on his camera because of having an electricity issue in the country. So these are some of the challenges that can hinder one from embracing digital world. But we need to rise above this serene and find our way in this space, use it proficiently, and use it for a positive change. So continue to share this discussion with people, and we have recorded the session. We will share with everyone who joined us, and also we will share the presentation by Mr. Malika as soon as we receive it, and continue to engage in this discussion by following AYLF. We have a lot of constructive activities coming up, and also informative sessions coming up. If you are not yet a member, you can still look out on our social media. Once we open our membership application, you can still join us to be a member of African Young Leaders Foundation. So thank you all once again for being part of today's webinar, and together we will shape the African we want, and let's keep the momentum going as we move forward for tricks to progress, because this is not a matter of just digitalization, it's a matter of transformation, it's a matter of change, it's a matter of development. Thank you, and this is the end of today's webinar.